Hello and welcome to Grandshelt Nights podcast number 9. Merry Christmas to all of you guys for staying with us for a while. And we are going to talk about the Christmas units on Final Fantasy Brave Exvius. And
Woo!
we have joining with me Kuja and Panda, and I'm your
Hello?
host Xer0. And
Whoa. Chaos
we're going to talk
wave.
about we have a lot to talk about, but we're gonna try to do it as quickly as possible, right? So we're gonna talk about two brand new units: Tiana, Felix, some old units: Christine, Kryla, and White Knight Noel. Their banners, the event that's happening, and also we have some Christmas bundles that you might be interested in, and what we could probably look forward to very soon. So we're gonna get right into it. First, with the new set of units. Kuja, you want to tell us about them?
Alright, so Tiana is the first unit. She's a magic attacker slash healer. In my opinion, she's not a very good healer. So she's really just a mage. Her TMR is disastrous formula. It's magic 15, spirit 10, MP 20%, magic 20%, not a refresh.
Accessory also.
Yeah, it's not strong. It's on the weaker side for TMs. If you have her 7-star, you'll get it and use it on her. And the only other option to use it, I think, is probably on a support unit. But even then, there are much better TMs available. Her STMR is very good. It's Flask of Uncertainty. It's 60 attack, 170 magic, and then 30% magic on top. That's strong. It's just very niche. There are very few mages in particular that can really take advantage of that. It's really Ace, Renoa, and her. That's it. And that's also a little bit of what hurts her in her kit, because she gets a lot of bonuses when using a throwing weapon, and then she also gets true double hand magic. So which means you need a throwing weapon, and again, the only good throwing weapons with magic on it are Ace's STMR, her own STMR, and then Renoa's TMR. Other than that, you're looking at getting low magic out of a throwing weapon with Hope's TMR.
A new.
And I think there was an item you could get from one of the story events way back when that had magic on it, and it was just okay. I think it had like 70 magic on it, so it wasn't anything special.
Well,
what about just give us a little rundown of
yeah, basically she is a mage. She's got chaos wave frames, regular chaos waves, so not chaos whip awaken. She has the ability to unlock quadcast. If you use her TM, it gives her the ability to quadcast on the first turn, so it's very similar to Transterra, which it allows her to fire chain with Transterra. The only downside to that is her fire chaos wave chaining move it's got kind of low modifiers on it, so it's on the weaker side, but she kind of combats that by having a lot higher magic stat than normal. She has 212 magic. That's way higher than any other mage. Mages tend to have around 200. So she's going to have higher magic stats, so her percentages are going to actually
be better.
Feel like they are giving you more out of them. She also chains with Quake. It's a consecutive increase move, so it gets stronger as you use it.
The more you use
up to max of 14 times. The only problem, it's Quake chain. Not a fan of Quake chaining.
Well, the thing is, right, Quake Chain is not so much a problem as the way I see it. The biggest problem, I would say, that there's no other Quake Chainer who
Besides,
can quadcast, so
like,
she's not gonna be chaining with
I think
anybody.
pull
Cersei
out,
can do that.
pull out the radios, bro.
Cersei
Pull out the
can
radios.
triple.
Just,
Cersei can triple chain, as far as I
just
remember.
use radio, bro. That's all you gotta do. Simple. Easy
Yeah,
game.
Lydia
I mean,
Easy game.
triples as well, right?
Yeah, she's.
She
Can
can.
I'm not a
can-
huge fan of
she-
Tiana,
Tiana
honestly.
can double cast it. She's she's she could be good. It's just she's very mixed in my opinion. Like she doesn't know what she's doing mainly.
And she really relies on the fact that.
It's RNG. Her
Well,
healing.
no, it's not her. Her RNG move is absolute garbage. I wouldn't even use that.
Yeah.
But she's just.
Okay, so the way I see it, right, and from the angle I look at, Tiana is a very strong damage dealer, but there are many strong damage dealers, and she's very niche in that she's a throwing weapon mage, and there are only three of them so far in the game. So if you don't
100%.
have if you have better options, then she's not really gonna fill anything that somebody else can do already, right?
Right.
Her main advantages, as far as I can, she perfectly chains. So she's synced with the Trans. She has very strong Quake chains that she can't really do with much other people, very well.
Yeah.
She has
Yeah.
good elements to her kit, but it doesn't really help her that much. And a little bit of support that's not very reliable, in my opinion. The disadvantages I see with her is that
Yeah.
she has random abilities that nobody's gonna use. She has Chaos Wave mods that are locked to fire, so she can only do fire with Transterra. She can't do anything else.
Yeah, I mean that's fine though.
It's
I-
fine.
She just needs more partners, which she doesn't have at the moment. That's why I don't rate her very high.
Mhm,
Having multiple partners is really important to me
mhm.
because it makes you a lot stronger if you can use more people to chain with.
I agree. And she only uses her quadcast only works with three of her elemental abilities, which is also kind of weird, right?
So
Um,
the next unit is
yeah, that's
Felix.
Yay!
Felix is a hybrid damage dealer. His TMR is Animated Essence. It's attack and magic 20%. Increase HP and MP 20% when equipped with clothes. Increase attack and defense 20% when equipped with light armor. Increase magic and spirit 20% when equipped with a robe.
Spicy
In my
meatball.
opinion, that's not good. It's not good. It's bad. It's worse than even Kunjira's TM.
Mm-hmm.
And knowing that we
It's
can
only really the most you're gonna get out of it is either 40% magic and 20% attack, or 40% attack and 20% magic.
Depending on what
I'd
you wear.
see that
Yeah,
more
they-
for a dual wielding hybrid.
Okay, yeah, and he's not a dual wielder, which makes his
That's what
TM really
hurts him.
bad. His STMR, on the other hand, is busted. It's so good. 45 attack.
Unless you have an Aura of Fravia, which
Well, it's still real. It's good. It's not just good on hybrids. It's good on regular attackers. So it's 45 attack, 45 magic, defense 10%, spirit 10%, fire resistance 30, earth resistance 30, and enables toy soldier's uniform, which increases attack and magic by 10%. It's a light armor. That's just crazy good. I mean, it's there's not you can't. There's really not a better armor.
mind if I bump in on this actually, because
Sure.
this is also an armor, and you're also talking about a limited unit that isn't that it's an STMR.
Oh, I know,
And say,
I know,
like,
and it's not
because for
worth
me-
it to get it.
For me,
But-
I already have clothes, and that has 45 attack, and that's Luneth's STMR. But the only benefit I would see out of Felix's STMR, comparing it to Luneth's, is that you'd get the extra 45
Yeah.
magic and 10% attack and magic, but
Hmm.
it's not that great for me, in my opinion.
There's no armor that's better than that at the moment.
It is amazing to me for especially for a hybrid, but it can work for attack damage dealer or a magic
Yep.
mage. It's very flexible depending on who you put it on,
But
right?
keep in
Not that
mind,
there are many
Yeah.
mages that use light armor, but still it's an option,
yet
you
again,
know.
limited unit plus STMR don't clash well.
Yeah, I know.
It's still we're just talking about how valuable it is, you know.
Yeah. So
We should move on to
in his kit,
units.
he can chain with 3 different families, which is useful. He can chain with Octo Slash, which is most of his abilities chain with Octo Slash. He can unlock an ability that allows him to chain with Areola Ray, and I think that hurts him that it has to be unlocked. But that's
Actually,
just me.
one thing I will say is his aerial array skill is ready on turn 1. That is because
Is that with his TMR?
Yep. Battle Ready is one of the abilities that he casts, and that goes along with one of the activated abilities for the aerial array move.
Yeah,
However, that's also a bad thing. The reason why that's a bad thing is that he can't just take advantage of elements unless he has an elemental weapon, right? To use his aerial array, he can't.
Well, he
take
can
advantage
imbue
of it.
himself with
Yes,
fire
but
and
that's a
earth.
setup. That's a
Or
setup,
Yeah.
which means
well,
he's
you
gonna
can-
lose the first
You
turn.
can also use his Fravia's Needle.
Yeah, I mean,
You
there's a
already
lot
got
of
ice.
options for him. He also has graviton cannon frames. In my opinion, those aren't that great.
Because we
only
only have
because-
2B and
Well, I
Elspars,
mean,
and they're
what
locked
hurts it-
behind cooldowns also.
Yeah, and that aren't available till turn 4. And again, it's a cooldown ability. So, okay, it's cool. You can chain with like Elisperis or 2B for a turn every 4 turns. It's just not feasible, really. He also can add killers to his attacks, which is really nice. He can imbue fire and earth. That's also nice. And he's got 100% true double hand for magic and attack, which is good.
They're really good.
Yeah, I mean he's a decent attacker. His LB also debuffs attack and magic by 70%, which is very useful. And it decreases fire and earth resistance by 100. So
Which is nice.
yeah, his LB is nice.
And it doesn't really... it's alright with cost also.
Yeah, I mean, the reason I really like Areola Ray Chainers,
Easy
and
to
mainly
chain.
because you can get like cheap chaining with support units, basically. Like you can there's a lot of supports slash tanks and stuff that can chain at the Areola Ray, so you can build that chain up higher. And even some of those support units, like Lauren or Victor or Lilith, they scale off their parameter that helps them the most. So, Lilith is a spirit scaler, Victor's a defense scaler, and Lauren is an attacks. Hers scales up attack, but she's gonna build for attack anyway. So he's useful, and then he can chain with those families. Octo Slash is also a good family that is large, so there's plenty of units that can chain with him. So all in all, he's a pretty solid unit. He's just
And
the thing that holds him back is the aerial array chaining move is locked behind an ability. He can use it on the first turn, but you still have to set it up.
my
So-
main take on him is that I believe he's a very strong hybrid. However, my main issue with Felix simply is that he's a kind of unit that he has so many unlockable stuff that he tends to. Usually, you bring damage dealers, right, to fit into your party. He seems like the kind of unit that you need a party to fit into him because of his specific sort of unlocks and rotations, which is really weird, in my opinion, how to use him, right? He's
Hmm.
interesting, but very specific in a way to use him. Yeah, that's my opinion on him.
I
Yeah.
agree. It's just
So
the
the
main
next
issue for
unit.
me on him is
Hmm?
just that he has this ability locked off.
Yeah.
But anyways,
Yeah. So the next unit is White Knight Noel. He
The old
is
units,
a
yeah.
tank, and 7 star they made him into a magic tank. Another magic tank in
yay!
global. Yeah, exactly. So his TMR is very good. It's 50 magic, 50 defense, ice resistance 25%. That's very solid. It's good on him, especially on him, but it's good on any mage. So even if you don't use it on, even if you're not using White Knight Noel and you pull him and you get his TMR,
Oh, it's
it's
so
a
good.
fantastic TMR. Now his STMR is exceptionally good, especially for him, because it's increase magic 40%, spirit 20%, and HP 10%. Then also increase magic when equipped with a rod, increase spirit by 40 when equipped with a light shield, and increase spirit by 40 when equipped with a heavy shield. So for him, basically, if you equipped a rod and a heavier light shield, he's going to have 60% magic and 60% spirit. That's fantastic. And you can even use this on any magic tank and get 60 spirit out of it, or use it on any mage and get 60% magic out of it. It's a extremely versatile STMR, and I know Panda doesn't like to pull for limited STMRs, but there's one caveat with the banner for the old units, which you might already have one or two of them if you've been playing for a year.
Mm,
You can only pull those 3 units on that banner. So if you
right.
pull a rainbow, you're pulling White Knight Noel, Christine, or Krilla.
All
All
right.
of
So,
them are
mhm.
good. All of them have good STMRs, and you have the FanFesta UOC ticket if you haven't used it yet.
All right. So basically, just to skim the old units, because we already know what the old units were in their 6 star
Hmm.
forms, right? We're just basically given them an estimate of their 7 star, right? So
Yep.
where would you say White Knight Noel lands in his 7 star form? Because we do have his enhancements already, which means
Yep.
this is going to be his final form.
That's
What?
it.
How do you
That's
rate
it
him?
for him. Yep.
How do you
He's
rate him in terms of the magic tanks that we have out there?
he's very high up there as a tank. Before he got his 7 star, he was the tankiest provoker we had. His main problem was he literally did nothing else. That doesn't necessarily change. I mean, he gets tornado and freeze. There, the only other unit that has freeze right now is Medina, who's 6 star. But there are plenty of units that have tornado. So if you're gonna run a team around tornado chainers, he's actually very good, and you can get him high magic and high spirit, so that he can magic tank and do a little bit of magic damage on the side, and you can just use him to build chains with tornado.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, he just gets tankier.
Right.
So he is
In
a
my opinion,
extremely tanky tank that tanks magic damage.
the fact that he covers now is a big deal because he's a proper tank now, and he has very high mitigation on his tanking abilities. Eighty
Hmm.
percent. He has 80% chance, which is really good. And his, to me, because he's a mage, not necessarily because he's a mage, but because he's also a chaining mage, is significant because usually when the trials that we have now where you can't fit somebody in your party, having somebody else to on their off turns of not tanking can be able to chain is a very big deal. And
Yep.
he comes with two very powerful chaining families. Even I would consider Freeze a very new but still quite powerful chaining family,
Mm-hmm.
right? And he can also chain Cap because he does have double. Sorry, he does
He's got a
have
Roga.
dual cast. He has dual cast in his kit, which
Yep.
means he can chain finish on his move as well. He's
Yeah,
a
and
very very powerful tanker
he also can
and mage.
unlock triple cast too.
Yes.
That's why he's good. I mean, compare him to other tanks, other magic tanks. As a straight up tank, he's probably the best magic tank we have.
Yep. I would
Um,
say even as a straight up counter damage tank, he's probably the best as well.
The only problem with him is unless you're using tornado chaining, he literally does nothing but tank. So you have other tanks like Awaken Rain who can do some other support things as well.
Hmm.
Same thing with someone like Lilith, who also chains too, but chains with, in my opinion, a better chaining family.
Well, it depends on the affinity. He has like ice
Yeah.
and wind. She has dark and fire. So it does depend on the affinity, right?
Yeah, he just, in my opinion, is he's a he's if you're looking for someone just to tank, he is the strongest one.
Yep. And
He-
as well, to me,
He
he's
just
also
doesn't do
quite-
anything else supporty for your team really, except he
I
can.
agree with that because his main skills and like how his stats are currently, they're pretty beefy for him to hold up and take
Yeah.
some wax.
Hmm.
And
And the thing is, with his, he has a move called Steel.
and
and
it
it-
mitigates him more.
Well, no, the thing about it is it mitigates physical and magic.
Oh.
There aren't many tanks that do that, and it can be stacked with all mitigation. And most supporty units have all mitigation. So even though his stats are going to be probably higher than most tanks, he's going to be able to soak up more damage on top of that with his his actual damage mitigation in his kit.
All right, so let's move on to the next unit that we have there. Let's move on to Christine.
Yay, Christine! I
Yeah.
want to take this torch.
Everybody's favorite unit from last year.
I will take
Yes.
this torch from you. So Christine, she is a magic user, a magic attacker, and her TMR is the Snow Bear. It has 50 magic, 30 spirit, and activates Snow Bear Guard. And it allows you to counter with an ability called Snow Bear Guard, and it restores 15% of its HP and gives 1 to 2 LB crystals to the user. That TMR is really good.
Yep,
It's
agreed.
just like, it's kind of like Ether Laser.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Anything with
really good.
flat 50%, like flat 50 to any stat, attack or magic is extremely good.
I agree. And her STMR is called Winter Child. It increases magic by 50%, increases equipment by magic 30% when dual wielding, which is really nice, especially if you slap that with Quiescence. And it also increases 30% ice resistance. That STMR is really nice to slap
Yep.
along with Medina's STMR.
It's, I mean, they did a number on all these STMRs for Christmas, making them extremely good.
Oh yeah, they did. They stepped up.
Mm-hmm. But because they want you to pull for these units.
Yeah. But
Um,
what's brand new with her kit is that she finally gets dual cast, so she can chain with freeze and such. And all those abilities that she in her plain magic abilities, which is nice to have for those specific missions, I guess. She also gets an ability called Snow Surge. It gives her a huge magic boost by 150%. Allows her to do multi-frost. That's quad cast for her. Which, keep in mind, she's also a um, Chaos Wave Awakened chainer.
Yep, not Chaos Wave.
So
That's a big deal.
yeah, it's a big jump from one to the other.
Well, it's a big deal in the fact that she can't chain with Transterra on turn 1
That is.
I think she doesn't sync with Transterra
at
in
all.
her. Well, no, she
Well,
does.
I mean,
She does,
she
but
does the old way. You both
Yeah.
have to go in, use her the old way, and they'd still do a lot of damage. She's just not gonna chain with if you go on first turn. Christine doesn't get quadcast on first turn.
She gets on
She can
second.
unlock quadcast. But
even if she does unlock quadcast, Transterra does not quadcast chain Chaos Wave Awaken. She will quadcast chain Chaos Wave.
Yep.
Right? So she if you have to use her with Transterra, she will use her in the old way. That's not a bad thing because her modifiers are great. And Chaos Wave Awaken is very strong. So they are going to do serious damage, even if they are not like syncing the new way, the 7-star way. But she does, in my opinion, get a lot more support abilities. She has a very, very powerful limit burst that could give everybody ice,
Yep.
the element
She
of
also-
ice, and
she has an
can
ability
create
that can do that too.
yeah, yes, she does. She,
So she's really powerful if you have an ice team,
yeah.
or if you really
Having a pristine friend.
yeah. I mean,
Yep.
you can go in and just add ice to an entire team's. So this is one of the first units that allows you to basically imbue more than one unit in a turn.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And in the true double hand meta, most of the real good two-handed weapons are non-elemental,
Exactly.
and she can decrease the magic or the ice resistance of the enemies too. So on top of imbuing, she can debuff and get good damage that way too.
And I would also say it's significant that she also, even though she can train with Transterra that way, they didn't, to me, they didn't like completely ruin her, because her having freeze, her best.
Yeah.
We just talked about White Knight Noel. He gets freeze as well. All right, so it's a growing family, so she can definitely take advantage of element, and she can also even in a 6-star form, she can create her own chaining partners, which is amazing, right? So she does get a lot more support abilities, which helps her out quite a bit, in my opinion.
Right. I mean, the only issue, and I know a lot of people had this issue, is she was last year when she came out, she was kind of promoted as being that Transterra trainer, and they decided like, nah, we're not gonna make her we're not gonna make her chain with Transterra anymore. Whatever.
Yeah, they came with a big surprise by saying, nope,
Yeah.
she's not gonna be that unit for you. And instead, we got Tiana. All right, which is
Yeah.
in some
They're
sense,
fine. It's just
yeah.
yeah.
All right,
I mean,
and
Christine's good. It's just she's not as strong as she could have been.
I think
in my
she's
opinion.
not as strong as we thought she could have been. It's
Right.
our expectations kind of threw us off, I believe. Right, and the
agree.
last unit that we want to talk about from the old units is Kryla.
Yeah, and I think she's the best unit here.
Let me talk a little bit about Kryla, since you and Panda got the other two. Right. In my opinion, well, I'll just let you know that she is a debuffer in the biggest sense of the word, because she is a she
Yeah.
is a
No,
she's a hex user, right? She
Yeah.
is a witch in that sense. She does everything that a debuffer would do. She basically imperils I believe all elements, or
all elements.
6.
All of them.
Yeah.
All on one
imper-
move.
She does it all in one move. Yes, yeah, and she can also do two elements at a time. She also comes to be one of the strongest breakers we have, being able to at any point in time dual cast any debuffing skill, right? And she'll
Hmm.
be getting enhancements soon that'll make her be able to break 65%, which is significantly stronger as a 6-star unit. She's very, very close to a 7-star form as a 6-star unit, right?
Yep. So if you
And
get one, you're not totally SOL.
yes, right? She also can do a lot more stuff within her kit as well.
Hmm.
And it helps her out big time. And in terms of she has very very unique niche she's a abilities in terms of doing fixed damage. There are not many units who does specific fixed damage in the way she does it. She's actually specialized, right?
Yep.
And she can also petrify. I guess this is called status ailment. She can break and she can also take away all status ailments from your team, but also give status ailment across the board to the enemy as well, right?
Hmm.
Which she does to help her fix damage,
Yep.
right, on every negative element that the enemy has. So she's an extremely interesting unit and a very
Hmm.
very strong unit. Um, what is your opinion on her? Could could
Well, one thing you missed is her TMR is busted. By the way.
Oh yeah, I didn't cover her TMRs because I was
Yeah.
sorry. I've been so
No, that's
excited
okay.
about what she
It
was.
increases
She
spirit by 15 and increases all element resistance by 25% and
yes,
increases LB gauge by 1 per turn.
she
That's
has
busted for
she
TMR.
has by far I would say in the game for a 6-star TM, she has a 7-star valuable sort of TM
Like
because
her yeah, that's and then her STMR is really good too. It's 35 defense, 84 spirit hat with
mhm,
fire resistance 20, ice resistance 20, light resistance 20 and dark resistance 20.
yep,
That
and
is
it's
a magic tank's
also
dream.
yep, it's also worth noting that her TM is stackable. So you have 4 of these and you have 100% resistance, which is a
Hmm.
very big deal in this game.
So if you pull, no matter how many Krellas you pull, you want that many TMRs because
Yep.
it's just busted.
It's
Um,
way, 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 way too good to pass up on.
Yep.
Also, it's worth noting that in her kit, she also has a move that seems quite bad for her, but it's not actually. It because it decreases her attack, magic, spirit, and defense to her, and it also gives her inflicts a bunch of status ailments as well. But it also increases her limit burst by
Yeah.
13, and this is extremely
Hmm.
significant because she's immune to all these things basically
For the first 3 turns.
for the
Yeah.
first 3 turns. So she can cast that on herself without any problems. And she's gonna need those limit burst crystals because those limit burst crystals are going to be used for her to do her stronger breaks. Her
Yep.
yeah, her significant breaks, which are 74%,
Yep.
right? Which
So
is
you got to yeah. Basically, she's got one ability that you just it's a cooldown. Dark anathema.
mhm,
It spikes her spirit by 170%. It removes all stat like the status parameter debuffs from her.
mhm,
It gives her skills for 6 turns: Jinx anti-defense and Jinx anti-offense pot. Those are the upgraded breaks that she gets. It
yep,
also enables for 4 turns Witchcraft Plus, which is basically she can use 2 abilities in a turn, but it's instead of it being the ones that Witchcraft unlocks, it's pretty much everything. She can dual cast like everything. She also can unlock a much better hex called Eye of Doom, which is 150,000 damage per negative effect, which that includes all status ailments all imperils and the breaks.
Hmm.
So now on bosses, it's not as strong as you would think because most bosses are immune to all status ailments, and they tend to be immune to like 2 breaks usually, or some of them are immune to all of them. So you're only really getting the stacks on the fixed damage from her imperils. She has a nice ability that it decreases all elements by 60% and unlocks that Eye of Doom hex, which is the one that does 150 per thousand per hit, which is extremely good. As I mean, and basically it's extra damage from a unit that doesn't usually do damage.
Yep.
And she has the first turn 70% breaks that Lauren and 2B have, making her, very good for a breaker. The only thing is it puts her probably, if you're going to rank the breakers, it puts her behind Lauren and 2B, in my opinion,
Well,
because
yeah.
you can use them as a secondary role, whereas Krilla is basically just a debuffer and breaker. It's good.
Well,
She's a very good unit. Very
yeah.
good unit.
Yeah.
It's just she doesn't do that other thing on off turns like Lauren can or 2B can, just not
Yeah.
as well as Lauren because she doesn't have a chaining family with anybody yet.
I
Once
will
we get
say
more units.
I will say that for cases, there are specific cases where she could be used. Where, like, let's say enemies who, um, just giving an example, maybe uh, the Leviathan who puts up a strong mitigation. I'm just giving an example. It's not going to be
Yeah.
practical necessarily, but who puts up a strong mitigation, 99% mitigation, but you can break all stats, which means that she can do some significant damage. Even if a
Mhm.
person puts up 100% mitigation, it's fixed damage. It doesn't care about spirit, doesn't care about
Yep.
defense. It eats through it, right? So there are cases I think that she can be extremely significant, but those are niche cases. She can be that kind of damage dealer. But
Yeah.
other than that, she's a breaker.
And she's a
She's a buffer
damn good
debuffer.
breaker.
Yes.
She's a very good breaker.
It's a solid rotation, perfect. Perfect for what she is. All
Mhm.
right, and okay. So before we move on to the banners, just give a quick new versus old. Right, the new units versus the old units.
I think
What's your vote on them?
the old units are better.
Agreed.
In my opinion, the old units are much better. Right,
Mhm.
even though the new units have like some good strong abilities, they're not necessarily, I would say, needed as much as the old units are needed at this time, because
Yeah.
each of
So
them, I believe, comes with something that can help out um, everybody,
yeah,
at some point.
and the main thing is their damage dealers are a dime a dozen.
Hmm.
Support units, tanks, breakers are a lot less common,
Yep,
and that's
and more
basically what the
desirable.
old units are.
Well, even Christina, who was a damager, is now more of a supporting role, which makes her more valuable in that sense,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I mean, somewhat. She's still a damn good damage
Yeah,
dealer, but
yeah, of course.
you
And
can use her to do other things.
one of the main things I will say that makes the old units even extremely more valuable is all of their TMs and STMRs are damn good, right?
Mhm.
Compared to the new ones where they have the good STMRs, but so okayish TMs,
I
right?
wouldn't
And
even go and say they're okayish. They're both subpar.
that they're subpar. But the old units, their TMs, even back a year ago, are extremely good, right?
Hmm.
So,
All of them are good.
definitely the old units.
They
So let's
all
talk
hold
about
up.
their. What's that, Panda?
All of the TMRs from the old units, they still hold up,
They
even
still
in
hold up.
this
Yes,
meta.
that's true.
Yeah, and they'll hold up into the future too.
Yes, they
Yep.
will. Mainly because it's raw stats and
Hmm.
yeah.
Yep. So let's move on to the banners that we have for both of these, the new units, and there's an old unit banner as well.
I
The new
currently have
unit
them up.
banner. What's that?
Um, I currently have these up right now. Right here with the, we're gonna start off with the Tiana and Felix one. I'm just gonna say this right now instead of just like holding it off. Um, this banner has every unit in it, like every
Yep.
rainbow. It's not locked off to them two and Christmas units. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
that's not happening. This is a really bad
it's
one.
a bad step up in the way that it doesn't give you any of the extra bonuses like more recent step ups have given us. You know, where you get the
Times X amount.
two times,
Right up.
yeah, times two rates on the third step, you know, or even getting like the percent rainbow tickets or something. They don't even have any of that stuff. It's you're guaranteed either Tiana or Felix on the last step, but you're not guaranteed if you pull a rainbow that it's going to be a Christmas unit, which hurts it.
Mm-hmm.
The second step up for the old units, on the other hand, is very good. Where it does, it's essentially it's the same step up, except in the last step, you have you can get one of the three Christmas units. Now you would think that's worse,
But here's the
but
thing.
what makes it way better is that banner and the rare summon banner for the old Christmas units are
Is
both
banner locked.
only them. So if you pull a rainbow on that banner, it's going to be one of the three. It's going to be either Christine, Krilla, or White Knight Noel.
Which is really
So,
nice.
yeah, if you're going to do a step up, I would recommend doing the old unit step up. And I'm also saying this, I normally wouldn't say pull for STMRs, but this is a banner
Where your
where-
rates are really high.
your rates are extremely high. You only need 3 also, if you really think about it, because you have the FanFesta UOC. And if you have units from last year, so say you were around last year, you pulled a White Knight Noel, a Christine, or a Krilla, you only need 2 and you can get that STMR. And and the STMR for all 3 of those units are very good. Like, extremely good. Especially Christine's, White Knight Noel's. So,
It's a really good banner.
yeah.
I'd do the same thing. I'd pull for STMRs. I still have yet to finish the step up,
Mhm.
which is gonna be next week, because
Yeah,
the
I haven't done the
banners.
step up. I got destroyed on my ticket pulls,
Yeah, which you'll
which
see in a
you'll
couple
see
of days.
eventually. But
Yeah.
yeah, and it was bad. It was bad.
Well, we're still talking about Christmas units. I think we should talk about the King Mog event we got. Winter Mayhem.
Yep. And one thing I would say about that is make sure you get the UOC ticket, and also get the present, because
20%
It's
draw
called a
time.
wrap gift.
it's a
The-
present.
It's a
It's a Christmas present.
yeah, it's called the wrapped gift.
I know.
But it's not
Yeah.
a Christmas present.
But it's extremely significant as an item because it not only gives a flat defense and spirit of 20%, it
20.
comes with sorry 20. Sorry,
Yeah,
not
you
20.
said percent, but yeah.
I apologize. It comes with 2 effects on it. One is an ability called the Unwrapped Gift, and the Unwrapped Gift basically gives a random ability, right? However, the random ability is it's okay. It has attack and magic of 50%, defense and spirit of 50%, or attack, defense, magic, and spirit of 55%. All of these are 3 turns to all allies, which it can be very significant for, somebody just that you have on your team that's probably just going to give some support when necessary, right? But it's not necessarily the biggest thing about this item. The best thing about this item is its other passive ability, which is an effect of giving passive 20% chance of being targeted. The largest we had before was the yellow balloon, I believe, which was 15%. All right.
Yeah.
This 20% goes a long way in making a passive provoker who doesn't even need to provoke, right? And
Yep.
can help out quite a bit for a lot of units,
Yeah, because
right?
there's a lot of fights that have a preemptive strike, and having someone that has 100% passive provoke really helps with that.
Yep. It can control, it helps you control the battle much more significantly.
Hmm.
Yeah. As
Especially if
the
you don't have
Oh,
Moogle plushie like
Yes,
well,
me.
yeah.
paired with the Moogle plushie is probably the best.
You can make
Um,
anybody 100% if you pair it with the Moogle plushie.
yes.
Well, Moogle plushie and the yellow balloon. But
Well,
yeah.
no, the Moogle plushie has 30%. This has 20%, which makes it a 50%. So on any unit that
Well,
has
with
50%,
50, yeah.
you'll get 100.
Another thing from the King Mog event is the ice headband is also actually pretty good.
Chari's TMR.
Hmm. If you don't have it, I mean, it's a good support accessory, so I wouldn't skip out on that one.
Hmm. The other stuff is very good for newer players. The Winter Magic, Winter Spirit. If you're very new to the game, these can help you out. Um, I would say the other ones that are okay are assertive growth, because that increased experience of 15% is very good to level up or help level up your units,
Yeah.
as well as the mace that we have called the Fireplace Poker is, first of all, it's extremely funny that it's a poker.
Poke,
All
poke.
right. But the fact that it has an element of fire, we don't have any fire-based maces, and it probably has a use in the future. So I would
Maybe.
say you
Yeah.
can hold on to it. Yep.
Yeah, it's not horrible to get.
Yeah.
It's okay. And then there's, normal King Mog stuff, tickets, Moogles, Cactars,
Um,
awakening materials, that same stuff as always.
there is one significant difference, though. I would say now that we've had FanFesta, we've had news that we will be getting in the near future the mixer system,
Hmm.
which essentially means that you can trade 100% um, units, trust master units that have been maxed out of their trust abilities, right, can now be traded in for trust coins, or at least that's what they're
Not
calling it for now.
now, but in the future.
Yeah.
In the near
And
future, that's what it
the
said.
only thing about the trust mixer system is we don't know exactly how it's gonna go.
Right.
Now, I also wouldn't get rid of any unit either unless you're really strapped for room
Right.
because, basically with the mixer system, all units now are useful. So you're pulling even a shadow is not totally horrible because
Yikes.
eventually it can be used to sacrifice to the mixer system where you can get good items. Now we
Hence,
don't know what those are gonna be exactly yet in global because they could change it from JP.
all right.
But in
So this.
JP,
Mhm.
you would get awakening crystals for limited units. So if you pulled of one of these Christmas units and you know 4 months down the road that awakening crystal pops up in the mixer system, you can use your trust coins to get that, and then you have a 7-star of that unit.
Yep. And speaking of the trust abilities, this event usually hands out some Moogle specific specific to certain trust abilities. Now, because of we have news of the mixer system coming in the near future, it's very valuable to get the ones that you can get their hands
Yeah,
on
the
to
low
increase
ones.
yeah, the low ones. Just get them.
Yeah, I wouldn't
You know,
recommend farming the 80,000 ribbons for like the 5-star TMs, but getting the
lower
ones
tier ones.
for 8,000 and 500.
It's
Yep.
worth it.
I would get them. It's like it's a free 10% on that unit.
Yep. Even if the Trust Master reward isn't good at all. Like
Yeah.
in this case, Gilbert, I would say. Still definitely try to level them to 100%.
Hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, we have just to talk about maybe the bundles, Christmas bundles that we've had. Do you want to talk about that, Panda?
Oh, oh, um, sorry, but with these bundles, sorry, my app just crashed a couple minutes ago.
But
But I recall that it had 4,000 lapis, a 5-star. It's not just a normal 5-star ticket, but it's a ticket that gives you one random 5-star out of 8 units, which are CG Jake, CG Laswell, CG Fiend, and
all the CG,
Sakura,
well, the main
Lid,
characters.
Nicole, and then there's also Dark Fina and
And
Awakened
Awakened
Rain.
Now, that ticket is valuable depending on
How many you got?
how many of those units you want, and
Oh, and it
how
also
many of them you
comes.
have. Because
It also comes with a 10+1 ticket. Sorry, and 50 10 energy pots and 10,000 event currency, which this is also
whatever.
$48 by the way. Just
Yeah. There's also another bundle that has, instead of a
the rainbow
the
ticket.
random ticket, it's got a guaranteed 5-star 10+1 ticket and a 4-star ticket. So essentially, you're getting, and it's got the rest of the stuff is the same. So you're getting 4,000 lapis and essentially a guaranteed 5-star. One of the guaranteed 5-star is a much smaller pool than the other, because the guaranteed 5-star that you get from that bundle is just the regular EX summon pool, which is everything. The other one is just those 8 units, and depending on how many of those units are useful for you, that one might be better or worse than the other ticket. Now, value-wise, this bundle is it's okay. Because you're looking at 4,000 lapis, which if you spent 50, you're gonna get a little bit more lapis, but you're buying a guaranteed 5-star essentially as well.
Yeah, which is also 10+1. So
Yeah, and so I mean, again, you're getting a 10+1 and a guaranteed 5-star. You could get more than one, you know.
it's just all the roll
So
of the dice.
yeah,
All right,
um,
and I would just remind you guys, even if you're free to play, get the Fountain of Lapis. The Winter Fountain of Lapis is here. Get it. It doesn't.
yep.
It's so
Fountain of Lapis is back, and then
so
there's
valuable.
also a $25 bundle, which is very interesting.
And not to
Because
mention the Lapis only bundle.
The one with the
Yeah,
Unforgiving Blade, by the way, and the $25 bundle
it's
is
50% Great Sword Mastery.
it's really good. It's worth it. That is worth it.
Yeah, that bundle I think is worth it. I've seen a lot of people say it's not worth it, and they're saying it's not worth it because that TMR is obsolete. And I think that is 100% wrong.
hmm I totally agree with you there, Kuja, especially because it can stack with other large sword masteries very
Yeah.
easily.
Well, and the reason why people are saying it's obsolete is because they're saying, well, in the future, the meta is gonna go to katanas. That's somewhat true in the fact that yes, if you once Axstar comes out in like 5 months, he uses katanas. So everybody's gonna use Axstar like they used Hyo when
Yo.
he came out, and he's gonna use katanas. So he's not gonna get any use out of that. Axstar is also not the only unit that's gonna come out in 5 months. There are plenty of units in the meantime that are gonna come out and use great swords. Jacked is another good unit that uses great swords, and he's not that far out. He's a couple months. So I don't see why 50% greatsword mastery isn't a good thing.
I agree.
I think a lot of people are trying to convince themselves not to buy it. And so they're saying it's not good.
Yep. I think it's also good value. We also have one more thing to talk about, and that's the what we see for the near future. Because these are also time limited units, there's also a significant amount that we could tell about the new system, but you can look at the fan festa for that. All that maybe there's a future, some things that we can talk about that we have Kingdom Hearts coming,
Yep.
and there is
Xenogears.
also Xenogears down the line,
Yeah.
and
And Chinese New Year.
Chinese New Year. So we
So
do
pull at your
wisely.
own risk, I guess.
Pull
It's because
wisely.
it's gonna be tough for the next 2 to 3 months
You're gonna get demolished.
for the limited units. So
We have you have till the end of January to use your Fan Festa select limited select summon ticket. So use
yep,
it wisely. All right, and
I
I wish.
say for
Mhm.
those tickets in particular, you can use them now if you want,
All right.
because we're not sure basically if the Chinese New Year units are going to be around when these come out. It's likely that we might get their data before those tickets are gone,
Yep. So look out for that.
but you probably won't be able to pull for them. So keep that in mind. That if you have a White Knight Noel or a Krilla or a Christine
Go with that.
now, I would get their 7-star rather than wait and then use it on, like, I wouldn't go in there if you have no Aang or Chow and use it on a Chow. I would use this FanFesta ticket to get a unit,
All right.
a 7
Well,
star.
I think that's about it for now. So um, we covered everything that we needed to. Thank you guys for listening, and Merry Christmas,
Make
and have a
sure you
Happy
guys
New Year to all of you.
make sure you guys join the Discord also. All right.
All right.
Merry
Link will be in the
Christmas,
description.
everyone.
All right. Thank you guys.
All right. Have a great night.